What is up, bros? With Josh here. In today's video, we're going over some Republic gameplay, and this ship is probably my go-to for being when you need to get some frustration out and you just need to hit something hard. The Repub is pretty freaking fun. I'm interested in what you guys think. Is there a go-to ship when you just need to let some steam off? The Republic, for me, seems to be one of those. I love playing destroyers, so it's always one of those. I need my battleships to maybe hit a couple targets correctly, and they never seem to. You know, when you play a destroyer, your battleships seem to be kind of mediocre. When you're playing your battleships, then your destroyers tend to be mediocre. And so I always try to throw in some Republic gameplay whenever I need to just slap a couple things. And as you will see our destroyers here. As I'm playing Battleship, our destroyers go all the way around this cap and we'll never cap it, as I'm trying to get this Venom, and it even turns into some salty chat later in this game, so we will end up blocking a little bit of it. But yeah, it's always one of those, and when I need to play a ship that just kind of hits some things hard, I always pick the Repub. So I'm interested in what you guys have. If you guys have one of those frustration ships, if you need to get something out, you know, a lot of people maybe will play, you know, insert whatever ship that they have. I'm interested in what you guys have. For me, it's the Repub, maybe a Wooster, I think are a lot of fun. And then just playing something even like the Asasho if I really want to get my inner troll out. But the Repub for me is awesome. I love it. Big shells, fast reload. However, downside is it does take a lot of alpha damage. It isn't super armored. But I do love the ability to just punish broadsides, punish a lot of ships very quickly, and then also with the speed, be very quick. In general, I love any kind of battleship that has a kind of a speed boost. I love fast battleships because it allows you to rotate very quickly. But still, trying to work on whatever ship I can do here. That dude takes a monster salvo. And right now, we're just kind of tanking because these DDs, as you can see, are going all the way around, and there's nothing we can really do. And as you see, a destroyer is on the cap, and we just have to sit here and hopefully we don't get torped. Also, it is a CV game. Republic does pretty well with CVs, as well as any kind of ship can do, I guess. It has fairly high AA, and we can work with these. So, but though, the Republic for me, though, is so much fun. The big shells, you're going to see us kind of get, it's kind of a slow start this game, but you will see the Repub do a lot of damage very quickly. And you can look at other things like the Yamato, like you know, even the Kremlin. I haven't played the Kremlin as much, so obviously if maybe I played that, you know, I'd like that. But I like what the Repub brings. It's kind of fun. Now, do I have this thing fully spec'd out? The biggest question I get whenever I play this ship is, do I have this thing fully spec'd out for secondaries? I do not. I do not run the range module for the secondaries, but I do run AFT, so I have that little bit extra range, so not the max. But one thing you can do with this is get really, really aggressive, and what I mean by that is you can get very quick, you're fairly agile, and pulling in secondaries and a fast reload, you're pretty freaking scary when it comes to it. But as you see right here, we have our destroyers going all the way around. I was hoping that they would maybe catch the DD, roll into the one side, but instead we're just going to get pretty aggressive here. We have to push at some point, so even if you don't have competent destroyers, you do have to kind of just eventually just face check the DD and do what you can. There's nothing you can really do. So the Repub is very good at that. As you see, now this is also a good little lesson of sometimes you just have to go forward. As you see, the entire enemy team is over on A cap, so we just have to push. We are basically getting held down by one DD, and there's two destroyers, there's 2 cruisers, and I think 3 battleships, or I think that maybe even 3 cruisers. So 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 2 destroyers getting held up by 1 DD, basically. So you can't really have that happen. You have to just get aggressive at some point. If you take a couple torps, that happens, but look at where the map is. So as we're trying again to get these guys going. And also, the range on the Repub is something that's pretty nutty. 26.1 kilometers. Now, this isn't with the legendary module. This is just normal setup. This is something that is very, very, very good. And because the reload's so quick, I thought I was going to just absolutely dunk that Minotaur, but Repub dispersion lets us down. I think I was even a little low. But I love throwing the shots out because there's so many times you will catch things at 24, 25 kilometers just throwing them out there. Because the dispersion is alright on the Repub, it can be quite trolly, but its ability to just get another, especially if you have adrenaline rush 2, you can get the reload down really low to like 16 seconds or something like that. It's crazy for shells that are this big, But what it does right here is it's very punishing towards anything that's broadside, or really anything that's kind of bow in. Again, as you see, it takes 2 battleships. Oh no, it was the Yamato, so 3 battleships are getting held up. So it takes 3 battleships to cap this when you have 2 destroyers right here. So although the Bismarck is turning broadside, I think we switched up to the Iowa, and there's the Hirakaze right there. So we can't just sit here. We got to keep moving. And I was trying to figure out the best way. They always try to do maybe like a drive-by with the Repub against other stuff, maybe like the Yamato. You'll see us get into a fight there. And but all these broadside battleships, this is where the Repub will shine. Now, we did get a little lucky on that. The Repub tends to take a decent amount of alpha damage, and what I mean by that is it's not super plated, as, you know, let's say like the Lenin or a Kremlin or something like that, where the plating is very high. This will take some decent damage, and one thing that the downside of the Repub is getting farmed down by fairly high caliber HE. You will get kind of just take big salvos. And what we're trying to do right here is wait for this salvo, and as we pump in a nice little bit of damage, we're going to make this turn, because basically all those guys have fired, so we're able to make this turn, and I want to deal with the guys in the middle. The Hirakaze went that way. There's a lot of ships over here. I have to basically give up some broadside to get into it, but we are going to pump in a nice little salvo here. And I'm trying to get a different angle, as these battleships are all, they've kind of gone broadside on their left side, and now they're kind of rotating to the other side. So I'm trying to catch them and get a different angle on them. So always look for cross-target possibilities, or cross-firing possibilities. As you see right here, I'm trying to break into the middle and try to rotate back, because they're all kind of getting pushed away. And if I can get any shots on these, I thought the Yamato was pushing through B cap. That's what I kind of made this play for, because I was going to try to catch him broadside, but he doesn't end up doing it, so I have to cut through this. So a little bit of a misjudgment there, but as you see, we're already at 77k, and all we're doing is basically just firing on cooldown. So that's one thing that's kind of nice about the Repub. That fast reload is just so nice, and always look for opportunities for cross map shots. As you see right here, I might as well just pop in a nice salvo on this guy, even if he doesn't go down. One shell hit and he's almost dead. So always look for opportunities for stuff that's pretty far away, because sometimes you just will hit him with that one salvo. So I will pop in a lot of long range shots in this ship. So was trying to figure out where this Hirakaze was, try to catch him out, but the Hirakaze ends up going pretty far south. As you see, he's right there. So didn't really expect that. I figure that him going B cap would probably be the play, but he doesn't end up doing it. So this is at this point, I think I even said on stream, and we play these all live on twitch.tv/bjash. Come check us out. But I was like, okay, let's just, time to push. That's what we're gonna do. All these guys are getting wrecked on the enemy team. They're so far away from the cap. Let's push through and let's have some fun with this Yamato. So the thing about a Yamato is it has a thing called the cheek, and you will see what we're talking about. We get caught up here, Costa Concordia style, but nothing we can do. And we're going to try to get off this island and continue through B cap. So the Yamato has a thing called a cheek. So the cheek is basically a segment of the ship right here that if you shoot at the right angle, and you will actually see us both shoot at the correct angle and shoot at the incorrect angle, that it has a kind of a weaker fore-end plating. And what you can do is, if you have a big enough caliber, you can actually punch through that as we start to stack up these citadels, all these broadside sailing battleships, because again, we rotated and we got those cross-fired angles, so that's why we end up getting into this spot. You will see us both shoot through that thin low arm plating, and or the front end plating, sorry, and then we will also miss the shot with these two angled. We'll shoot too far back, and you'll see us correct it. So this is a nice little, I guess, tutorial on where to shoot. Now you have to have big enough caliber shells. Not all battleships can do it. Obviously, if you're rocking like some of the German battleships, you can't really do it. And as you see right here, a good little lesson on whether to shoot at bow-in targets or whatnot. Always take stuff, even though the Yamato's at 7 kilometers right now, I'm taking shots at stuff that's 13k away. And the reason I'm doing that is because they're offering me that broadside. So I would do way more damage on this. I think we ended up that Montana just sailed in a straight line the entire time. So we were able to just kind of pump in salvos, and I think that was our 3rd citadel on just that same Montana. Also taking the broadsides on that. So we're cutting off this line. So the plan is to see what this Yamato does. Now, I thought he might ring around the Rosie and I would cut around this way, but we'd still pump damage on these guys. So in the end, it was fine. But you will see us get into that brawling situation. That's always fun if you've ever played. A brawling battleship. It's a lot of fun. We end up snagging that, so nah, we'll still count it. It's still a kill. But if you've ever gone against the Yamato, this is a good little training right here, and of where to kind of aim, and I've made this mistake multiple times. I kind of get almost too comfortable with where to aim on the Yamato, and I'll just bounce everything. So it'll kind of show the extreme, you know, the ability to just absolutely wreck Yamatos, and then the ability of the Yamato just to be super tanky. So you'll see us, first of all, first salvo will be good, second salvo not so much, and then the third salvo will be another good one. And just go, you kind of see this. So right now we expect to just take this. Worst case scenario is he shoots our front guns, which I think he actually aims for. He shoots our front gun right here, and he doesn't do much damage. And you will see us right there under the front gun because he's fairly broadside, so we get that right there. And we have that fast reload, so we can swing out our back end and get a back turret on him as well, and not actually take too much damage. And so you see here, I aim a tad too far back. I want to be a bit farther forward, and he bounces everything. But I'm like, wait a second, I'm a Repub. So you see me chunk it right forward right there. Then there you go. So you kind of see us shoot a bit more right here. What we're trying to do is get through that thin armor plating into the Citadel, and kind of pump out a tad more damage right there. And there we go, a nice little brawl with the Yamato, easy peasy. And then what do we see right here? Another broadside Iowa. So a good reposition by us to, as I like pat myself on the back or something like that, a good reposition to get all those broadsides. We stack up a whole bunch of extra damage by getting those cross angles on those guys, and broadsides for broadsides, all the broadsides. Everyone always asks in chat if these are paid actors. They are not. We were just able to get into a good positioning because location, especially when it comes to a battleship. So if we would have just hung out right there with our with that other landing and just kind of chilled, we would have had to bow tank all that. We wouldn't have been able to do all that damage. So relocating and getting cross angles on that kind of stuff is pretty nice. And you're able to do a whole bunch of extra damage by getting those angles because they're focused on other stuff. You're able to get in there and pump in a ton of damage on things because they're focused on other things. So also a good little lesson there on where to aim. As you saw, we kind of aimed a bit, the first salvo was good. The second salvo was a bit too far back, so they were able to bounce everything because, again, the Yamato is pretty armored. And a little 1-2 punch right here, and we get another Citadel. So I'm interested in what you guys play for your kind of go-to when you have to release some stress and release some anger. What's your go-to ship? For me, it's the Repub. I like the speed. I like the big guns. I like the reload. Actually, I just saw we almost snagged a Kraken there. We were really close on that one Iowa. But the Repub for me, probably the Wooster are both really good. I don't tend to like go too low of tiers. I know a lot of people probably do, and you know it is what it is. But a nice little 9 Citadel game. We kind of played around with that poor Yamato and able to farm all those broadsides for a nice overall game in the tier 10 French Battleship. I'm interested in what you guys pick though. What's your go-to frustration ship if you're having a rough day and you just need to release some stress? What do you pick? I'm interested. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.